president and co-founder at Animal Chiropractic Education Source. It's been a little bit since I've seen you guys. Sorry about that. I try to be more consistent. And I'll tell you, the reason I'm here today is that, I had a really big realization, a fun realization at least, something worth probably, getting a little sticker or a plaque on the wall. I had to renew a life insurance policy because one of the older policies had timed out. And here's the deal. When you're 20-something and they sell you a life insurance policy and you think, when am I ever going to need that? It never occurs to you that you're going to outlive the due date on those things. But that's the way they put them together. So that happened. And so I bought another policy. And what do you buy life insurance for? You buy it not for yourself. You're buying it usually for those people who are left behind and who are there to follow in your footsteps so that they have some groundwork to start from. And when I got approved for it, you go, guys, I'm not young. I'm 62 years old. And I feel I'm in really pretty good shape, except for this head cold. And I want you to know that I got approved at Super Preferred. Now, Super Preferred is, in some insurances, is elite or preferred, or not preferred. What is the other word they used? Exceptional. I don't know what they used. Anyway, not everyone gets that rate. People get that rate for being more healthy, for having a healthier lifestyle, for having better blood pressure, for having better height and weight ratios, and for having good driving records. And so that said, I've been in that super preferred category my whole life. And my insurance guy was always like, this is really cool, you're doing great. And this is really inexpensive insurance from what most people pay. Which I used to just kind of blow off. It's like, yeah, that's just life. But here we are. He said, at the age of 62, I don't have very many people in your age bracket that are super preferred. And I thought that was kind of cool, because it made me realize that that's a little bit like what we look for in students here at Animal Chiropractic Education Source. There's a lot of people who bounce off our website every day because they are looking for animal chiropractic. They want to know something about it. They think they might be interested, and they may not even be qualified. The other part about it is they might be a veterinarian or a chiropractor, but they still might not be quite qualified to be an A.C.E.S student or an A.C.E.S grad. And that happens because people, they're just not, they don't have the extra, mile that it goes. You can be interested and you can take a course and you still might not be successful at it. I want you to know that there are doctors out there who, they see animals every day, all day long, and they hardly adjust anything. It scares me, really, because those are the doctors who, if I were in their shoes, man, I'd be adjusting everything that walks in the door. But that's just me. And that happens to be exactly the way our clinic here at Animal Chiropractic Education Source runs. Everything that comes in the door gets an adjustment. That's the final clue. That's the final offer. There are things we don't do, and we make it really clear. We don't do spays and neuters, and we don't do vaccines, and we don't do a lot of things that people come to us for. We don't castrate horses, and we don't preg check cows, and we don't, I'm trying to think about some of the things we don't do anymore. We just don't do that because chiropractic really and truly is the one thing that we do that affects more animals in better ways. We know it's going to help every single one of them, and we want them to be here for that reason. So for our graduates, for our doctors, we want them to come here and be ready and be prepared to develop a practice that has that kind of cojones, I guess is the word. You know, the kind of confidence that will be able to adjust everything that walks in the door. So, are you ready? Are you prepared? Are you that kind of doctor? First of all, you have to be the doctor. You have to be the veterinarian or the chiropractor. But the other thing is, are you that kind of doctor? You know? So if you're one of those doctors, find us today at animalchiropracticeducation.com.